Iranians are not going to target the Holy Sepulchre, and their missiles are obviously very precise. I have a little bit of a fear that the Israelis might decide to drop a missile on the Holy Sepulchre and maybe on the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and then try to blame it on the Iranians. But I don't think the Iranians are going to do that.
Yeah, they're precise missiles, as are most of ours, unless it's headed to a girls' school that apparently was an accident.
Yeah, girls' school that we hit, and then 40 minutes later hit a second time to make sure we wiped out the fathers that were trying to dig through the rubble to try to save their daughters.
Yes.
Yay, America.
Goodness, I have a few places to go from here. Misunderstandings shaping political attitudes and foreign policy as far as misunderstandings of Revelation. That seems to be dying out some, maybe quite literally. Do you find younger people coming into your parish that are saying, Father John, I sort of believed a lot of this crazy stuff on end times and the book of Revelation and the state of Israel, and I realized that was not true?
I think anybody who grew up as an evangelical probably heard these kinds of things. I did, and I believe that they were true. I remember when I was in middle school, my older brother asked me what I wanted to do with my life, and I remember saying, well, maybe I'll join the Israeli military. That was a thought, because I think, hey, what better way to spend your life than to fight the evil Philistines or Palestinians, for God's people. That's the kind of brainwashing that we were all given. But even among Protestants, that kind of a view of Israel is very modern and doesn't go back prior to the 1800s. I do think that it's losing a lot of influence, particularly among younger people, because for one thing, I think one of the nice things about the internet is that, like that interview that Tucker Carlson had with Ted Cruz and then his interview with Mike Huckabee, it exposed how ridiculous their views are. But if you grow up in a church where this kind of stuff is taught, you just assume that it's true and nobody's challenging it, so you don't hear it being exposed. But Tucker Carlson did it. The thing is that view is not going to go away entirely in our lifetimes.
Right.
And it still certainly has a big influence on our leaders. The dangerous thing about it is that these views are actually paving the way for the Antichrist, because for one thing, they're teaching people, hey, before the Antichrist comes, don't worry about it. You're going to be raptured out of here. So that means that all these evangelicals that actually believe that, if they live to the time of the Antichrist, they're going to say, well, that can't be the Antichrist because we have been raptured out of here. So they're going to be much more susceptible to being deceived by the Antichrist as a result of it. And they're literally trying to bring about lay the groundwork for Armageddon, which they might, God's not caught off guard by this stuff. It's not like God saying, man, I hope John Hagee shuts up because he's really screwing up my plan. And that's not happening. It may very well be that God's allowing people like John Hagee to say these things because he is setting things up for the Antichrist. But I certainly wouldn't want to be in the shoes of people who do that on the day of judgment, because I don't think that that's going to be, feathers in your cap, so to speak.